Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Clapboard. So today we have with us our another professor, Mr. Abhijit sir, and today we'll be discussing about editing. So we'll start straight up. What is editing to you?
Editing is a constructive process. To me, it's not a destructive process. We are not editing out anything. We are joining shots and creating meaning. To me, if I say, it means if you ask me what editing is, I will say to create a suspense in almost all of the shots whenever we are joining anything. Suppose somebody is watching a television or a sports program, a football program. I just give you an example, simple example, and the striker hits the goal towards the goal post, and suddenly your electricity or your television switches off. Then what will happen? The audience will be excited to know the result.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is editing.
Okay.
That cut is very necessary. That cut point, that is the point where it will create a eagerness to know what happens. We as an editor should join the shots. It will create a sense ki what next, what next. So that will make the audience sit on their chair. Okay, so this is editing for me.
So sir, you must have worked for decades now and you must have worked in different genres of editing as well. So for example, there is documentary editing, film editing, news channel editing. So what are the difference between them and what is the pressure on an editor to deliver the work in different genres?
I started my career as a documentary film editing, and documentary editing is quite different than feature film editing, definitely, because the thing is that documentary editing, in documentary we deal with many hours of rushes compared to the actual film. Suppose a film is of around a tentative duration, we have thought ki it will be around 1 hour. Then in documentary, the rush or the raw shooting can be of around 100 times more than that. It may be of 100 hours, it may be 200 hours also. And minimum, I have worked with maximum around 70 hours of rushes in a 58 minutes documentary. So this is the thing that you need to understand the rush handling, the raw shooting handling. Whereas in film, it does not gather so much amount of rush unless and until there is any kind of action sequences into it. Okay, so if there is any action sequences, then definitely it will be of that amount of rush, but not of around 100 times or 50 times of rushes. Film has a ratio of around, if the film is of around 3 hours, then in drama, in normal drama, it will come to around 3 times more than that. So 9 hours or 15 hours, if it's an action, then it may come to around 5 times to 6 times of that actual means film time. Okay, so this is one of the things that you need to remember, that in fiction. And another thing is that we used to call that a film, any kind of film, that actually starts from the table, from the script writing, then it ends on the table also while editing. So editor gives a different point of view. Many of the directors I have found, I have seen that though they know the editing, they don't do the editing. Okay, to get a different point of view. Okay, so that is one of the major thing of it. And in feature film editing, we need to understand the script very well. Okay, scene by scene, you have to go over there. You have to understand the match cut, continuity. You need to maintain the continuity. You need to understand the continuity very well into that feature film. But whereas in documentary, you don't have to use that continuity, but the thing is that definitely whenever there is any chance, you can use the continuity, and random shots will be there. The most important thing is that the file management is very important in documentary, because there will be much more amount of rushes into it. And another thing is that most of the editing and most of the storytelling is refined in the editing table. And it takes time. I have seen ki random shots has been brought into that editing table, and the story has been made out of it, using narratives, using what do you call, interviews or bites, we used to call it. For me, when I used to edit a documentary film, I used to go through the scripts. Definitely there is a rough script into it, but script is refined with the director on the editing table. I make a rough cut, whatever has been shot into it, whatever the scenes there is. Then I used to give, if there is any voiceovers, if there is any voiceover related works into it, then I himself or anybody actually uses the rough scratch voice. Scratch voice means a rough voice that is not finalized. First we use it. We can capture it in our mobile phone or any kind of microphone, any kind of, it doesn't matter, because we will not use it into the final version. Okay, so you use that as a reference, then we used to edit the scenes into it. Okay, and after that we replace that voice over the narration at the end of the project, when you have done the rough cut, when you have done the final cut actually. Okay, so if a documentary is of, we have planned a documentary of around 30 minutes, so rough cut will be of around 1 hour. Okay, then we refine it. Second rough cut will be of around, I am giving an example, second rough cut will be of around 45 minutes. Then in the third rough cut, actually when you sit again, then it will come to around 30 minutes or 32 minutes or 33 minutes. Then in the final cut, we exactly cut it to 30 minutes in the duration. But still, there is no compulsion in a documentary film to keep it around in that place unless and until it's a television program. In television program, we have a compulsion that we have to keep it from we have to end it on that exact frame. If it is a 30 minutes program, we have to end it in 30 minutes. Okay, but if it is a personal project, then there is no compulsion in either feature film or in documentary film. What is in documentary film, already the shot has been there. You need to follow in documentary editing, we need to follow the log sheet or the time code sheet very, very well. That has been maintained by the assistant director or the direction team at the time of shooting. So if the editor do not have that log, then it's very tough to find that exact shot. Where is that in NG shot, okay, not good shot, or where is that good shot into it, because there will be multiple retake into it. What is in documentary, there is not that kind of retake happens into it. Okay, but in feature film, the retake happens. So you need to identify. Now, if there is no log sheet, then the editor will spend most of the time in finding those things. Okay, inside the studio, in the studio. So it's very tough. At that time, most of the time it will take to search the shots. So always there should be a log. That log will help the editor to find that exact shot that is required. Okay, so this is one of the major things. Documentary editing takes time. Documentary editing cannot be done in a fiction film can be edited. Okay, a drama, fiction film can be edited in a week. Can be. Okay, but a documentary, it's very tough. It's half an hour, depending on the rush, definitely, depending on the rush. If the rush is around 15 times or 20 times or 30 times more than the exact, then it will take time. Okay, it will take time. So this is one of the major things that you need to remember. And another thing that news, right? News channel has very small quantity of rushes. They do not have that kind of rushes. They do not have that time into it. That has its own excellence in it. News channel, suppose a 30-second of news has around 1 minute or 1.5 minute of rush. So you don't have an option. So it needs to be done very, very fast. You need to be very fast in editing. You need to know the shortcuts very well to work in a pressurized environment, and deadline. Time deadline is very important if you work in news channel and in also in television channel editing. Editor means takes out the final product into it. So it's a huge pressure on it. Okay, so this is the basic difference between this feature film, news editing, and documentary film editing. And I just need to point it out one thing, that news editing and documentary editing is different. We should not mix it. Okay, that is different. News editing is regarding that news, whatever the news that happens, that is about the current affairs. Documentary is not a current affairs. It has already been happened. We are researching. It's like a research paper. We are researching and bringing the views and the point of views of those witnesses or the experts and all those things in a documentary film.
So, on one hand, we have film and documentary editing, which take weeks to edit and all. And on the other hand, we have news channels or sitcom TV shows. So, how a news channel or sitcom helps developing skills for an editor? How fast he gets? What is the procedure?
No, regarding skills, both are a different skilled. One is means what you call, you get time, you have a time duration in feature film and documentary, as I have said earlier. But in news channel, you will not get the time. You have to adapt to that. That is another experience into it. How fast you can do it. Okay. So in news channel, we can say there is right now it is in they are right now concentrating on the quality, but forehand you should remember that news channels, news is very important than the quality. Okay, whereas an entertainment channel, when an entertainment channel is working, they actually concentrate on the quality very much. Okay, means in news channel, if there is any kind of error that happens in the color grading, there is no grading happens in it. It is not possible to grade and all these things, color correct. And definitely basic color corrections and grading is done, but not in that way. Okay, so it's very tough for a news editor to do it in that way, because he will not get time. A news editor works on around 5 to 6 stories in a day. Okay, in a day of around 1 minute of stories. Okay, so they are of around 5 or 6 minutes of rushes in it. So it is not possible. It is not possible. You have to adapt to that. Whereas in documentary, you get the time. Whereas in feature film, you get the time also. But remember, news editing is all about speed. It's all about speed of the editor. You have to be very, very fast into it. Okay, you may have to edit it in around half an hour and get it approval from the producers. There will be a producers into it, get it approval from the producer, then it will be broadcasted over there. Okay, so this is a different experience into it. But definitely I am not, definitely there is a comparison into it, but all has its own merits. All has its own merit. All are different. Okay.
So we'll come back to film editing. So is it really important to have a good relationship between editor and a director to make a film come out in a better way? So what would be the association of a director with an editor, with his editor?
Like a husband and wife. Okay. So editor and director should have a relation. Means we have seen, I will take the examples of Martin Scorsese. I followed it, followed most of his films. So I have seen Thelma Snookmaker was the editor. So she used to edit most of the films. I think the last film was not edited, but other than that, around more than dozen films has been edited. So he used to maintain a single editor, because there is a thing, when we are into that editing, because I have never seen a good relationship between a cinematographer and the editor, but I have seen a very good rapport with a director and the editor. Okay, and whatever I have worked with the same director. So unless and until I left that project or I shifted my location, okay, till then I used to work with that same editor, because an editor when works with a single director, and because he understands the feeling, he or she understands the feeling, what kind of viewpoint that director has, and director also should understand the director will not disturb the editor every now and then. Means you cannot means be on the side of the editor all the time and can comment what you will do. Okay, I am saying on the point of view of an editor, not of a operator, not of a software operator. Okay, because what I have felt, I used to get the script, understand the storyline, see the rushes, then I used to edit on my own first. Director do not come on that day. I do the rough cut on my own. First I prepare the rough cut, structure the rough cut, then the editor comes, see the rough cut, director comes and fixes the things and suggest, then I take a note of it, then again I say ki you come after 2 days. Okay, then again I do the second rough cut, and then again he or she comes and sit with me on that day. Unless and until I do the rough cut, I do not prefer to take the opinion of the director in that way. Okay, so first I prepare the rough cut, Then I take the suggestion and when we discuss all these things, okay, and after the discussion we decide what to fix, what not to fix. If there is any kind of shooting that is required, then the director decides what to do. Because what I do actually, if there is around 50 scenes into it, I arrange it in a fiction, in a feature film, I arrange it in a 50 scenes in that way. If any scene is not there, or any scene is required to be put, okay, then I put a blank space into it, a tentative duration of 30 seconds of black video with the text, the shooting yet to be done, shooting not done yet, this kind of text I put into it. So I get a rough timeline, I get a rough timeline structure into it. So, okay, so this is the way, and it's very important to get a good editor for the director also. You need to understand, understanding should be the major thing between both of them. This is very necessary. Okay, so this is my opinion. I have worked with many directors, and all of the directors, after working on that first project, all of them worked on the second project and the third project also, continuing.
So if a editor has a creative difference with the director, because it's a director's film, he has its vision, but if the editor is not liking the vision, so there can be many conflicts and all. How to handle that?
No, it's a director's film, definitely. Editor should not be adamant into it.
But if you are working on something for so
Definitely,
long,
editor can suggest.
Yeah.
Editor can suggest, but if the director wants in that way, the director is the captain of the ship. Okay, we are working on all the editor, cinematographer, everybody is working to means develop the vision of the director. Okay, so we should not oppose it. We can have a different opinion. We can suggest, we can argue, definitely. A good editor, a good director will also accept it. Okay, but you need to also see what they are deciding, what the director wants. So it's not your film, it's not an editor's film, it's a director's film. Okay, so you should compile with what director wants, that the editor should always remember. You should not cross that line. You should not cross that line. Okay, there may be difference, there may be difference, there may be difference, there may be argument, definitely. It happens, many times it happens with me also. Okay, but I have to keep it within myself. Okay, I have shown frustration into it. Yeah, this is not, should not be used like that. And later on I thought, yes, when the director has thought, let me check it out. So I thought, yes, there may be some point into it. So later when it got released, I have seen, yes, there is a point into it. Okay, definitely. So this happened also. Sometimes it did not happen also. It happened, yes, what I wanted to express at that time means, if it should not, if it should be done, then it would have been more fine. These things will remain. This is very natural, but this should be taken very positively, and editor should remember that it's a director's film, and we are all here to materialize the vision of the director.
So we'll talk about softwares now. What are the different software that we use in film nowadays, and how are they different from each other? And what are the speciality of each software?
This is very important because right now we are tech driven, completely digital things. Right now we do not shoot in film also. We shoot in digital
taking the aspect of AI as well, because films are getting edited and all in AI as well. AI is
definitely AI is selecting those things. We need internet means for that also. Right now in the present day, editing software does not matter. Okay, it used to matter at the time when you used to work in Final Cut Pro, Avid. Okay, at that time it used to matter, but right now it does not matter. If we have any kind of software that can actually export it in, definitely one thing should be sure, that software, all the professional softwares all have, that software should have the capability to export it in EDL format or XML format, so that we can transport that timeline to another software. Okay, so what we used to do at the time means early in the 2000s era, we used to edit it in Premiere, Rough Cut. Then we used to, at that time Final Cut Pro just came actually in 2007-8. So we used to then, with the help of that EDL, we used to do the Final Cut in the Final Cut Express. At that time there was Final Cut Express, then Final Cut Studio came, okay, Final Cut Pro. So we used to do the rough cut into that through this process. Okay, right now this also happens. Many of the editor actually edits in Premiere, edits in Final Cut Pro. Okay, so in DaVinci also, okay, DaVinci Resolve has a very good feature that it can actually edit also. It has improved a lot from the earlier versions, and it can also do the color grading also. So we don't need to shift to any other softwares also. Earlier there was Baselight, there was Scratch also. We used to shift our entire timeline over there into that. Then you have to color correct it after picture locking it, after the editing lock is done. Then you have to transfer into it. Right now there is no difference in, means there is no necessity, that means ये retake जाएगा तो ठीक है. So right now it is not necessary to choose any software, means you can, in whatever the editor is comfortable, editor can choose any of the software, be it Adobe Premiere Pro, be it Final Cut Pro, be it DaVinci. Okay, you can edit in any of the softwares. These are all professional softwares that is available right now. And right now the AI is very beneficial. AI is helping us to select many of the softwares. Suppose I am giving a command into that editing software because I need some of the emotional shots in this collage. Okay, so it will select the emotional collage from my 15 hours, 10 hours of rushes or 50 hours of rushes. So it's very much easier for me to do the rough cut. Another thing is that it's very important for doing the trailer, for editing the trailer. It can take very less time in editing the trailer out of the whole films by using this AI features. AI is also helpful for color grading also. It can give you a basic editing, basic color grading into that. I have not decided into it. Suppose I am giving a reference of that grade color. I need a matrix kind of color, or I need a Martian kind of color, or I need a dune kind of colors in my film. We can use the LUT, lookup table, LUT, or we can refer into that AI driven color command over there, grading command, and it can grade in that way. Okay, then we can modify. Definitely, we cannot depend onto the presets completely. You cannot depend on the AI also completely. You have to put your inputs into it. As an editor, you should always take that, and you should always take the benefits of it for doing your rough cut, for doing your final cut also, definitely. And it will also help you to optimize your files into that rendering, into that outputs also. Okay, so this is the help that we'll get, but my opinion is that there is no, right now we don't need to depend on any single editing software. All of the softwares can do the similar kind of jobs. Definitely for gradings and all we may choose some, but for basic editings it is not required. All of the softwares right now has the basic editing features that we can do cut to cut.
So if we go back to 10 to 12 years, so there was a wave of Final Cut Pro.
Yes.
But after that, when Premiere Pro came, so what is that it edges the
not
Final
Premiere
Cut Pro?
Premiere Pro came. Premiere Pro was already there.
Yeah, but what happened?
I am using
where
Premiere
the
Pro
shift
from
came?
version 6.
Yeah.
Okay, Premiere Pro was already there. I started working in Premiere Pro from 2003.
Yeah.
Okay, it was already there. Suddenly Final Cut Pro came. Final Cut Pro became, Premiere Pro was there, Avid was there. Avid was for the professional. Avid, at that time only film editor used to use the Avid, and Premiere was used by only what you call event works, music videos, documentaries. Okay, so this kind of setup used to use the Premiere Pro. Okay, there are other home video softwares also. There are many softwares into it. Earlier also there was, I just can't remember the names, but there are other software that were used for. Pinnacle Studio was one of the software. So these are the software that were used for the event and all these things. Okay, so Premiere Pro was, Premiere Pro versions came from 2004, 2004 Premiere Pro versions. Okay, earlier the interface was completely different. Then came the Final Cut Pro. Final Cut. The Final Cut Pro actually was a cheaper version than your Avid. But Final Cut Pro has one of the things that Final Cut Pro used to come in Apple system. And the keyboards and the everything was different. Operating system was completely different. It used to, and a major benefit of using the Final Cut Pro is that it used to have shortcuts, many shortcuts, and it used to adapt to many of the file formats at that time. File formats at that time. Though there was very less file formats, we used to use in tape, but it was there. And there was good color corrections. There was many shortcuts. So as there was many shortcuts compared to the Premiere, so it used to we used to work it in a very fast manner. But later on, in around 2000, when the Intel processor was there in Mac, we used to use the Final Cut Pro. It was very random into it. But as soon as this M1 processor and Apple again came back to its own processor, earlier Apple used to have G5 processor, then it came to the Apple systems, Intel systems. Then again, when it got back to its own systems, M1, M2 and all this processor, it stopped supporting those, what do you call, those softwares, because it became a 64-bit operating system. Okay. So I just forgot the name of that operating system, but from that operating system, most probably before Sierra most probably. So it stopped supporting the 32-bit softwares, that is the Final Cut Pro. And Final Cut Pro came up with a new versions into it, Final Cut Pro X or Final Cut Pro 10. Right? And it was a 64-bit operating system. But all of the communities, those who are using Final Cut Pro, came down to around 20% of usage. Okay, all of the 70 to 80% of the editors rejected that Final Cut Pro 10 interface and all. Okay, so they adapted to that Premiere, and Premiere right now has almost 80 to 90% of the features of the Final Cut Pro 7. Okay. Almost all of the features. Okay, and another, then it came to the DaVinci. One of the major reasons of using DaVinci that it came with a licensed versions. The licensed version, that is the free version, has most of the features in it. So you do not have to crack it. You can use the licensed version into it. Okay, and the Studio Resolve versions also is not that much costly also, and it used to come with many of the features, not only about editing. It come with color, with sound, with VFX, all of the things comes with it. So this is the major thing. Okay, and television industry and everyone in the 2000 to around 2015, they have used in that 10 to 12 years, they've used randomly Final Cut.
So, the last question would be from you, can you name one film which is good in editing or which you like in terms of editing perspective for us to watch it and learn from it?
One movie to suggest as an editor means Hindi film or English film.
So you can give both of the examples.
For Hindi film, I will suggest Parinda.
Okay.
Vidhu Vinod Chopra's Parinda. That is very good in compared to editing and understanding Indian films. Okay. And for English films or the international films, I will suggest French Connection. Okay. So French Connection is very good and it has a very good chase scene. And another is The City of God. City of God. Okay, it's a Brazilian film. So these are the films that I will suggest.
Okay, so guys, we'll wrap it up here. This was us, and hope you're fine, hope you're doing good. We'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.